I've been really lucky that all the doctors I've had to interact with throughout my cancer process have been really good. There might have been one or two doctors that weren't great, but I only saw them for one appointment or two appointments, so it was nothing that left a really lasting impression. And my main hematologist, he was particularly awesome and very warm and caring, and never made me feel like I was just one of his many, young sick patients, because, as a hematologist, especially as a hematologist for children and young people, that's what he does every day. He sees a lot of young sick people. But yeah, he never made me feel like just another number or just another patient. And I really appreciated that. And that's the kind of doctor that you want to be taking care of you. And even during my checkups, he was always very warm and caring and not dismissive in any way. And I recently went to go get a checkup, just my normal 3 to 4 monthly checkups that I have to do for the first 2 years. And that was at the beginning of October. And I went to the same hospital, went to go in and get my checkup. And turns out that main hematologist guy, he wasn't in, and he's actually going to be away for about a year doing some kind of research thing. I can't remember exactly what they said, but yeah, he was leaving his position to do some research, and I don't even think he was in the building anymore, because I think he was dedicating his time to that. And so they had a replacement hematologist who would be seeing me, and apparently she was very good and all that, and that was okay. But even when I went to the receptionist to say that I was in for the appointment, I'd already had a little bit of a negative experience, because the receptionist that was there was telling me that I had to get a new referral letter. So in Australia, you have to go to your GP or your general practitioner. Ooh, I just knocked the camera. You have to go to your general practitioner and get a letter saying that you need to go see a specialist because you have this issue, and then you go see that specialist, and then it's bulk billed, which effectively means that it goes through the universal healthcare system and you don't have to pay out of pocket. For most specialists, or at least you have a very small amount to pay, because most of it's paid by the government and that healthcare system. And she told me that I needed to get a new letter because I was seeing a new GP, because I had found a new just normal everyday doctor, because I never really liked the doctor that I had before, and I really like my general practitioner now. So I was a bit frustrated because I only got that referral letter from my old doctor maybe 6 months ago, and I hate having to go to the doctors, mostly because it's annoying. I don't want to set up the appointment only to ask them for a referral letter, but I also just don't want to go to doctors because of the whole cancer experience. I'd rather not have to go and be in that environment again. Although I'm not particularly traumatized or anything from it, it's just something that I'd rather not do, especially something that I had done not that long ago anyway. So the receptionist was telling me this, and I was confused because I had only recently gotten the referral letter. So I was asking why do I need to, get this letter again? And the other receptionist that was next to this woman, kind of came in and kind of poked her head in and was quite firm and, I don't know, brusque in the way that she spoke. And she was like, because we need it, because something to do with, the Medicare system. And if we don't get that letter, then that way we can't actually bulk bill these appointments. And that means that the hospital gets charged more money, which means that they can't help as many people. So I just need to go get the referral letter. But the way that she said it was quite harsh. I don't know. Maybe she thought I was just trying to be difficult and trying to get myself out of that situation. And it wasn't so much that I wanted to get out of it, although that would have been great. I really just wanted an explanation because I'd only recently gotten the referral letter. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know. And then I took the letter and sat down and waited for my appointment. But already I felt kind of funny. Already I felt a little bit shaky. This was also the first time I had gone to get a checkup without my partner being there, because he's always been there with me, but he has recently gotten a new job, and so he wasn't able to come with me, and it's just another little checkup, so it's not going to be anything major. But he also wasn't there when I got my blood tested that morning, which also he's normally there, just hanging around. And when I got my blood test, there were so many people in the waiting room. It was ridiculous. And I had to wait maybe 20 minutes before I got called up to be able to get my blood tested. And because I had to wait so long, I was going to be late for work, which wasn't really the issue. The issue was more, having to wait so long, waiting to get my blood tested, even though I don't fear blood tests, but no one likes them. And also having to be in a room full of people who I knew that they were here for, I don't know, something. I just couldn't help but look around at everyone's faces and thinking about why they were here. And there were a couple of people there who had the classic signs of chemo with no hair, no eyebrow hair, just their beanies on and kind of rugged up because obviously they were feeling cold. So I just didn't really feel like being in that environment. So anyway, got the blood test in the morning, and when I get a blood test already I feel a little bit off because I'm going, you know, through that routine again, that ritual of going to get my blood tested to see if I have cancer again, and just thinking what if. But then I go later that day to go to my appointment. I have this interaction with this receptionist lady, which isn't particularly great, and I keep getting angrier the more that I think about it as I'm waiting there in the seat. I just keep thinking, like, why would she speak to me like that? That's really rude. She should know I went specifically into the hematology line. She would know who I'm seeing and why I'm seeing them. I'm not here with anyone else. I'm not escorting my, you know, old mother. I'm here on my own, clearly going to get a blood test or a checkup test to see if I have cancer again. I just thought that she would have been more kind and maybe more patient in explaining to me why I needed to get this, you know, letter that I didn't want to get. But maybe I had been somehow projecting some negative feelings, some frustration. I'm not really sure. And the more time that I spent thinking about it, the angrier I got. And I kept thinking about all these things that I would say to her as I walk out, you know, just saying that she shouldn't be so rude, especially when people are quite emotionally unstable when they're getting their checkups, especially when it has to do with cancer. And I would really appreciate it next time if she didn't speak to me like that. But I'm like, I don't have the energy to do that. I already feel a little bit funny. And sitting in that chair again, just thinking about all the times that I had been there, and the fact that my old hematologist wasn't going to be there already put me off, and I just kind of wanted to leave. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. But obviously I stayed, I got weighed and whatever, then sat down and waited. Then the doctor came out, she called me in, and she was perfectly nice. I had a fine appointment, everything was okay, I didn't have cancer, my blood tests were great, all the numbers were green, and I had no lumps that she could feel. But in that interaction with that hematologist, she was just very cold and not very warm, and especially given how warm my other hematologist has always been. This woman in particular, whether or not it was a bad day for her, whether or not I was somehow projecting again some kind of frustration, some kind of shortness, I don't know what I was projecting, but she just wasn't what I needed. Emotionally, she didn't provide anything, and I just felt a bit sad. And she was also like checking a long time on my lymph node areas. She was just taking her time to massage and make sure that there was nothing there, but she took a lot longer than my other hematologist normally takes, and so I couldn't help but get really worried, like, why is she taking so long? Did she feel something? Especially when she went to feel over an area again, I got really worried. And it was just because she was doing something that was slightly different, but also I just couldn't help but think that she was, I don't know, taking some extra time because I was at some kind of extra risk. And while I should have been happy that she was taking more time to make sure that she was doing her job properly, I couldn't help but get even angrier with her. I was like, why are you taking so long? You know, making me really freak out. You're making me really anxious. But it was when I tried to raise with her that I've still been experiencing some chemo brain symptoms and some neuropathy things, like the ones that I've mentioned on other videos. And also I just sometimes get stinging in my fingers and just kind of like a pin being pushed into some of the fingers. It's nothing major, but it's still annoying. And I guess I wanted to know if she had anything else that she could offer me. She's a different doctor. She might have read up on some different kind of research, and she might have come across some different things that I could use to help me out. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but instead of giving me some new information or emotional support, she was very dismissive. I think she said something along the lines of, well, if you still have that issue now, you're always going to have it. And she just made me feel like there was nothing I could do to manage these symptoms. There was no point in raising them anymore with her or raising them with any other doctor. And I don't think that she was necessarily insinuating that, but just the vibe that she gave me, the way that she responded, in the tone that she gave me, it felt very like, well, if you have that issue, I'm sorry. Like, what can I tell you? You're going to have it for life. I don't know why you're asking me these questions. And if you haven't recovered from these symptoms within a year of chemo finishing, then that's it. And that was just the feeling that I got. So I left, you know, happy that I was still fine and still in remission, but a bit frustrated that I would have to see her 2 to 3 more times before I got my old hematologist back. And so I left the appointment not feeling really great, even though I've received great news that I still didn't have cancer. And so I went to the reception and asked for a new appointment to be made in 3 to 4 months, and that was all done. And I just asked how long my doctor would be away for, the one that I really liked, and the other woman who had been rude with me before came in and had to say, you know, he's gone for 12 months, but this new doctor, this new hematologist is amazing, she's so great, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's great. I just wanted to know, I just wanted to ask. And somehow I couldn't help but still read that woman as being a little bit short because she really wanted to talk up this new doctor. I don't know, maybe she'd received some kind of resistance from other patients in the past, because the old hematologist, he was just so good, he was so lovely, and I can understand people not wanting to swap, just like I didn't want to swap, especially with the woman who just seemed a bit cold, even though maybe I just caught her on an off day. I left, I was fine, the whole appointment was fine, I went home and the rest of the day was good. It was just I couldn't help but still feel off because of that experience, and I think as well I didn't really want to see her again, and I know that I have to see her again, and I'm really taking for granted how great my old hematologist was, and I hope he comes back soon. And I also feel really sad for people who have awful experiences with doctors. I can't imagine not having a great one, because I've been so lucky in having that great hematologist that saw me. And even in the Netherlands, the woman, the lung specialist person, she was just so great and very caring and warm, and she did a lot for me. And so I feel like that is my standard, is to have great doctors like that, and I wish for everyone that could be what they experience and have, but I know it's not. Many of you have probably experienced much worse appointments, but still I felt like I had to share this one because it was just so not normal, and it made me really appreciate what I had before. And I hope that my old hematologist comes back after the 12 months. Please leave a comment down below if you've experienced a kind of a appointment like this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. But I just wanted to make a video talking about where I'm up to at the moment, and especially in relation to last video where I was talking about chemo brain and how